Hey, what's going on, guys? It's JD Headstrong. I've got a really neat and kind of goofy piston door to show you today. This is a really weird form of 3x3 seamless glass piston door and can be modified into other things with just small changes. But the reason this is a weird one is I haven't seen one of these around before, but it's basically a 3x3 seamless glass gravity piston door. If I push the button, the blocks just get pushed sideways and replaced with gravity blocks, which fall into the ground and are then exchanged for solid blocks, making it entirely seamless. Some of the other things this can turn into include a TNT door, because the hallways also, with some slight modifications, won't ignite. So this entire thing could be a TNT door, except the activation. You'd have to figure out how else to activate it because this runs directly into that block. But it's pretty neat. I'm going to be doing a tutorial on this here in a couple of days, but I figured I'm going to get this video out first because it's going to be a little bit of a long process to do a tutorial on this. I didn't worry too much about compacting it during the building process. I was more concerned with making it work because this was really just a goofy idea. The idea actually started with this design. It's significantly smaller, but it's not flush. It can only have a glass center because directly next to this block are the pistons. Now, you press the button and it works similarly, not exactly the same though, because it's never completely hidden. It's definitely a lot more, but it's not perfect because that's down there and it cannot be a perfect seamless glass. But once I built this, I was like, oh, with just some minor changes, it would be significantly more useful. So that's how we ended up with this. Now, I'm going to explain just a little bit of how this works before I actually do a tutorial on it, because the tutorial, as I said, is going to take just a bit to make because this thing, it's got a little bit of logic going on. In terms of how this works, I'd say the most important circuit are these ones over on the side. They're the ones that push the gravity blocks to where they need to be and then push the glass blocks back. Pretty much how they work is, it's actually really simple. All you have to do is get a piston right about there with a block on its face and a block on top of the torch that's on it, and some redstone dust on top. This is the sort of thing you would use to power a piston door, a 3x3 piston door like the side of one, and then you just have blocks all up here. Correction, not there, up here. And when you turn this off, which I didn't remember to grab a power source, so if I just put this here, it does something like that. All you really have to do then is power pistons on every other block. I had it right just a second ago, on every other block like this, with the same sort of thing above it, at slightly different times. Up here, I worked with increasing delay. The last two don't actually need any extra delay, but you need one tick more delay each piston. So this technically is limited, but it just pretty much pushes the pistons into the power source like you would with a double piston extender. The main problem with this is I was unable to retract it in any sort of logical way. So I decided just to leave it because it really would get pulled back when the next side re-extended. The result of that is this sort of push-across motion you're going to see right here. And that's a really smooth push-across, honestly. It definitely worked out better than I initially thought it was going to. This door actually only has about 3 different circuits inside it. Outside of the push-across circuits, which are on either side of the door and alternate, we have this triple piston extender right here. Now, I'm not really good at building triple piston extenders, and this one needed to be entirely below the ground and pull the blocks that are on its face, which are iron blocks in this case, all the way down. Now, in my initial design, I used gravity blocks, so I didn't need to worry about pulling the blocks all the way down. But then it wouldn't be entirely seamless, and since I'm going for seamless with this one, I needed it to be able to pull it. Now, I'm unfortunately going to not be able to explain how this works, because I built this like 3 days ago, and I've already forgotten how it works. Triple piston extenders are a massive pain in the butt. But triple piston extender goes right underneath. I'd say it's the next most important step, because the most important step is definitely having the ability to slide these blocks out of the way. The next most important circuits, in fact, I think some of the last circuits outside of some basic timing things, are these green circuits right here. Now, what do these do? Well, they're pretty much the same circuit as what's up here, but they just exchange the blocks in the floor. Now, I'm going to go around to the other side and activate this so you can see what I mean if I don't get tangled in my redstone. I press this and watch. This one will not, it fires, but it doesn't really do anything this time. It just has blocks pushed into it, retracting these pistons. Now when it re-extends, it's one of the first things to fire, and it pushes the blocks back where they're intended to go, down in there, so they can get shoved back up. All the gravity blocks, just in case you couldn't tell, end up back over here, 1 block away from where they, like, this is the hallway block right here. There's the glass right there. It's very important, though, that these timings are how they are. I had issues where some of the timings didn't line up, and I had gravity blocks falling out of the build, which meant I had to rebuild the entire piston and door layout, because it was a serious pain in the butt with the gravity blocks getting out of sync and messing some stuff up. So this took a good while. Finally, we have some basic logic and timing circuits. To start with, we just have a T flip-flop right here, which just determines when the door is open and when it's closed. I could have put it on a pulse extender, I just chose not to. After that, we've got this, which I kind of consider to be a dual-edge monostable, but it's not exactly. It does one thing on the activation and another thing on the deactivation. I am pretty sure that has a name that I just cannot remember right now. But on the activation over here, which is technically the closing, it fires this side, which pushes the glass where it's intended to go. On the deactivation, as you can see here, this block is powered by the observer, and that powers this side. Now, both sides have at least one 4-tick repeater. That's important because 1 tick of delay is not enough to extend one side fully. It needs at least 4 ticks of delay. That's the entire pushing circuit, the thing that pushes the door back and forth. That's the entire circuit there done. The next thing is down here. This redstone dust is powered by the comparator, which then powers the repeater, so it can power this, what's that called? Pulse extender. There we go. That was a problem. The pulse extender is powered, allowing this to stay extended just long enough for this to push the gravity blocks back in place. If it wasn't for that, these gravity blocks that get pushed across to there, let me quickly fire it so you can see them. I missed the button. There we go. The gravity blocks that end up over here, like that, would not be extended in time. So if I hit that, you'll see they extend before the redstone makes it all the way back over here. After that, there's this observer down here. This pretty much just powers this left extension circuit. And this orange circuit, which is, I am pretty sure it comes out of the triple piston extender right here. Oh no, it comes off of this line. I didn't actually realize that. It just powers the other one. I think that's just about every circuit in here addressed. I mean, there are probably some smaller ones like things that have to do with this triple piston extender, which I forgot because triple piston extenders are a major pain to build. But all in all, I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. I'm going to show you some minor modifications you can make to this, just because it can be like 6 different doors. I'm going to start by showing you the simplest modification, and we'll move on from there. The simplest modification is pretty much you just replace these glass blocks all in the door with any solid block. I like using iron, I just think it looks better. But when you do, it just becomes a standard 3x3 piston door. Now, it is, again, seamless, so that's why I figured you could use glass. But in the end, it's really just a 3x3 piston door. Again, really goofy with the way these blocks down here slide out of the way, but still just a piston door. It's not much different than just... Okay, in terms of circuitry, it's actually much different than a standard 3x3 piston door, but in terms of concept, it's pretty much the same thing. When I mentioned at the beginning of the video that this can be a TNT door, it definitely can. You just need a couple small modifications. Firstly, on both sides of the door, you're going to want to turn the redstone dust that was on this block into a 3-tick repeater. Now, that might seem like an insignificant step, but it's very important because if this is powered as early as I let it be in the standard design, it ends up igniting the TNT on either side, depending on which side is getting pushed out, which is majorly a pain. The next thing you're really going to have to do at this point is actually just replace all the iron blocks you're going to want to with TNT. There's one more very important step to turning this into a TNT door, and that is to replace this block right here with not that one, this one with a glass block or any other transparent block. The reason you're doing this is just to make sure that you don't power something when you don't want to. By that meaning the hallway underneath of it. Now if I fire this door, the TNT should get moved out of the way, and I am going to need to replace a couple more blocks with TNT in order for it to be a full TNT hallway, like those ones down there. Oh yeah, speaking of those ones down there, I almost forgot. You actually need to replace these with 2 tick repeaters as well, or again, you will just have stuff blowing up, which is definitely not what you want. After quickly fixing that repeater issue, which I almost completely forgot about, and that would have been terrible, and replacing some more blocks with TNT, pretty much all you got to do is just put down your power source, and the door will fire. This is it closing. The opening is pretty much exactly the same as it would be normally. And then the TNT gets pushed across, and as you can see, nothing's blowing up. TNT door. You can replace more blocks outward with TNT. I just didn't feel like it. There's nothing stopping you from doing so. In fact, none of the blocks around here are even getting powered, so this could extend as far out as you want it to. It doesn't really matter. Another really goofy thing this door can be made of are trapdoors. I have no idea why you'd want to do this, because you can pretty much just open it up anyway. But it will open like normal, and it's still, again, seamless. There's no reason to do this, or the TNT door, or for that matter, the glass door. I mean, the glass door I can see more point in than this. But if you want to, this is an option, I guess. And that pretty much sums up everything to do with this piston door. Let me know in the comments, by the way, if someone else has already come up with this idea and I just accidentally copied them. I've not seen this before. If this existed, meaning like the gravity block version, not just a standard seamless glass door, let me know, because I haven't seen it and I'd love to see other designs for this, because mine's pretty big and I didn't really care about compacting it too much, because to me this is just a goofy little design. But remember, if you liked the video, remember to leave a like, and if you want to see the tutorial, which I'm planning on putting out in a couple of days, subscribe, stick around. I'd love to have you guys. With that out of the way, I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya!